Have you ever wondered what would happen if you had the ability to snap your fingers each and every day and get up and do exactly what you should do without any resistance or procrastination? How much happier, stress-free, or confident would we be each and every day if we kept the most important promise, the promise we break more than anything, the promise to ourselves? That's essentially what discipline is. We often already know what we should do, but somewhere along the lines of knowing and then performing, we get stuck. Today I want to talk about 3 essential things, 3 concepts about discipline that have changed my creative process and most importantly, changed my life. And if you're able and willing to take the know-how and apply it to your unique situation, you're gonna start to live with more purpose, you're gonna start getting your goals faster, you're gonna start to create your best work, and more importantly, your better life, not just for you, but also for the people around you. 276 million people roughly in America are not passionate about their jobs, while 176 million people actually say they hate it, while the rest are somewhat indifferent. I can say before becoming a full-time musician, I was very much a reflection of the statistic, and it took me a while before I decided to do anything about it. I was run down from work, tired from the lack of sleep of having a newborn, and just felt disconnected from my craft of making and performing music. What helped to shift my habits was a story in the book Atomic Habits of a guy who wanted to start going to the gym consistently. The rule was that he would get ready, put on his shoes, go to the gym, and regardless of how he felt, he would only stay 5 minutes in the gym, good or bad. Inspired, I decided to get up early in the morning before the rest of my family, knowing that would be the easiest for me to actually create consistency. Not naturally being a morning person, I would literally get up, go downstairs, sit on my desk, and fall asleep. I did this, no exaggeration, for about a month before attempting any creative work. At the time, it felt like it was taking forever, but with hindsight, this was a catalyst for me to finally start getting creative work done, and now today becoming a full-time musician. The emphasis is in showing up and knocking down whatever belief you have that you believe to be holding you back, be it time or anything else. Creating great work requires us to go beyond what we're capable of. With all the skills required to be great at something, we often forget the discipline needed to improve is a skill in itself. But before we start on the journey of mastering the discipline needed around our craft, for years, I skipped this next step, and it would be the reason countless times I would start something and never get any lasting progress on it. For the sake of trying to get extra fancy, we're gonna call it the snowball effect. You should start to form a snowball by rolling the snow in your gloves. Now, when you get it to a sizable amount, then do you proceed to put it on the ground and start rolling it out to make this thing even bigger. Think of this like starting any new skill. When you start at zero, there's so much to learn. That's why going from nothing to something is so incredibly rewarding. Now, taking it back to the snowball effect, now this snowball is getting pretty big. Moving it the same distance you were moving it before takes a lot more effort, feels a lot more tougher. Not only that, it almost feels like now you're going up a hill. This wall that you hit, this part of the process has been the reason why I quit early on so many skills and stopped building things, because I wasn't properly aware and ready to combat this part of the process of discipline. I'm aware of some reasons why we fall into this trap. I would say you most likely fall into one of these 2 main categories. You put too much pressure on where you should be on the journey, or you don't put enough. The common theme is your perspective. Now, too much pressure is like that artist that wants that perfect project out, that perfect song out, and nothing is actually ever good enough or perfect enough to release. And on the other side of the coin, you have that artist that works on music just when they feel like it. They don't ever want it to feel like a job. They don't want to ever be tied down by deadlines. But because of that, they never actually finish any one of their projects. I love this definition of discipline, a system of rules of conduct. We need to work backwards. What is the rules of conduct to be who you want to be? And then for who you are, what is a system that is actually going to help you have this thing stick? Simple things like creating deadlines, creating or finding an environment where you know you could show up consistently. And a sleeper non-negotiable one that can change everything is having a surefire way to be accountable. That can be a community of like-minded people, whether in person or online in your field. There's even so many apps today that help gamify you reaching your deadlines or completing your daily tasks. So a few months ago, I read the 12-week year and started implementing everything in the book. One of the steps I failed to implement was the step about accountability. That talks about having either a partner or a mentor that you're accountable to. Now, I've used the apps before to gamify them, and they work in the beginning, but they kind of fade out at the end because there's no one really checking it other than myself. So what I've had to do recently is I found another app where they partner you with an accountability partner, someone who's on the app, and they check what you're doing daily. You pitch your goals, you pitch your monthly goals, and they kind of check in with you. I can say that this has been crazy effective for me right now. Now, long-term, how's that gonna go? I'm not sure. But for now, I feel like every day I wanna get stuff done. I stopped pitting so many things on my plate to make sure I get my daily stuff done, but keeping an eye what I'm trying to get done monthly and quarterly. So whatever you do, find whatever system works for you, because you wanna make sure that when you pitch your head on that pillow at night, that you feel good about your day and what you're doing the majority of the time. So far, we've established that discipline is a skill and discipline is hard. And then finally, why does any of this matter? Why are we working so hard, getting up early, making all these sacrifices today for a future we're not even sure of? The truth is, you're never truly free. You're always serving some type of master. So whether you decide to create whatever you feel every day rather than when you should, you are a slave to whatever your work or lack of work will produce. Now, when you decide to become a slave to discipline, now your life becomes a bit more predictable. It's easier to understand where you are and track where you're headed. And flat out, I think we can all agree when you do what you should do, we just feel better. It's like when you eat healthier consistently, you just feel better. If you were to create daily, it takes all the pressure off a one time a week or a one time a month, meaning that you get to enjoy the journey. And we have so many more shots at bat that way, meaning our success is not all based on one particular moment, rather than a collection of a bunch of them. Discipline is about gathering the most favor and chance towards seeing a specific outcome, being farther away from the worst version of ourselves and closest to the best version of ourselves. And not for somebody else, but really for ourselves in the way that we want to see ourselves going forward. So as Jocko says, discipline is freedom. If any of this helped you, if this was maybe just a friendly reminder to keep yourself on track, I'd love if you liked the video, subscribe, and maybe check out another video that YouTube thinks you might want to see. Go create, be great, peace.